Hey guys, it's Will and Chris.
And we're going to talk about this thing today.
Your watch?
Yeah, our watch and what it represents.
Time.
Time, and then managing this puppy.
Okay. So we're really going to talk about, we have a way of looking at time that's a little different than probably what most people are used to.
What's up?
It's called the Life Balance Time Management System. And actually, we've borrowed from lots of good things out there and put it together in a way that's a little unique and different.
Mm-hmm.
But it's to address the challenge that we see across the board, which is people saying all the time, I don't have enough time.
Yeah, there's some interesting data out there. 66% of people in America say,
There's not enough
I
time.
ain't got enough time. So what do we do about it?
The
Why
reality
it so
is, we got all the time there is. So it's really about managing our time, managing our actions, and so that's what we need to learn how to do.
So it's about managing us.
Yeah.
Self-management.
Yeah. Okay.
So why is it so hard?
There are a lot of reasons. I mean, some of the reasons are more to do with our culture today and our lifestyles today just make it increasingly hard. One of the things that makes it hard is that the information overload that we have.
Right.
We are bombarded with information every single day, and we're having to make decisions about that information, or even if a decision to ignore it.
Right.
We actually have more information that is kind of coming at us every day than what our grandparents had in their lifetimes.
Yeah,
which is
instant messaging,
text, emails, all the things that
shiny colors.
You drive down the street and there's just there's stuff flashing, your phone going off. I mean, there's stuff coming at you.
How we don't wreck when we drive, we don't know.
Well, a lot of people do.
That's right.
Yeah, so that information overload makes us, distracts us and keeps us often from doing what we need to do because we're just taking it all in, and we're almost paralyzed to action sometimes because we are, absorbing it or being overwhelmed by it and not doing anything.
Your brain can only take but so much.
Right. Another thing that really throws us down, which is related to that, is the technology revolution that we're in. In fact, there's something called Moore's Law that says that technology is advancing, actually doubling in its capacity every 18 months, which means that, today we've got cell phones that are smartphones, and we've got iPads, and we've got laptops, and we've got all these devices that we didn't have 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
And think how instantly they become outdated the moment you purchase it.
Yes, but also how it is, the good news is it's keeping us connected, but it's also keeping us connected to that world that's just throwing a lot of stuff at us. So we are constantly being interrupted over and over and over throughout our day. And they actually said that leads to another issue, which is what is called a dopamine addiction. The reality is that on average, people are changing what they're doing every 3 minutes, knowledge workers. And once they're interrupted, it's, people are being interrupted about every 11 minutes, according to some of the research out there. Interestingly enough, once they're interrupted, it takes about 23 minutes to get them back on task to the level of focus they were before they were interrupted. So people are constantly going through the motions all day long where they're busy, over and over again. The interesting thing, too, about the research says that when we're not being interrupted by outside sources like emails and other people and clients and all that sort of stuff, we're distracting ourselves.
Right.
And that's where the dopamine addiction comes in. Our brain is getting hardwired to want the change and the diversity. And we see that in our kids, but now we're seeing it in adults as well.
Right. We call that attention span.
Yeah, and it's shrinking. And what's happening is that people have lost the ability and are quickly losing the ability to really focus and concentrate, to give critical thinking to things. And so it's no wonder that we're just kind of going through the motions and just feeling like we're that hamster on a treadmill when we're just, every day is just kind of keeping our head above water or just turning that treadmill, and we're not focusing on the things that really are the things that are going to make our lives different and better.
Right. And I know a lot of people have tried to implement different strategies to manage their time or manage themselves.
Right. And you can look at every kind of aspect of time management and look at ways to, manage emails better, there's techniques and tips all along the line. But more importantly, I think we need to look at how we are categorizing our time and looking at our time differently. We need a whole new system because just tweaking the old system is not helping us.
Right. So, what are some tips that might help us be less distracted and get some of that concentration time back?
Well, there are a couple things you can do with concentration. One is to block and batch.
Okay.
So take tasks that are very similar in nature. If you're doing some type of reporting, you would want to work on those reports at the same time
Right.
because you mentally get into the mode of what you need to do and you get more efficient as you're doing it. But doing it for 5 minutes and then being distracted by emails and then waiting, getting 23 minutes before you're back on it, you're not getting through a lot of stuff. So blocking and batching is all about how do I block some time, and maybe it's a 2 hour block where this is all I'm going to do is work on the reporting.
Mm.
To do that, another strategy is to make sure that you're giving yourself time and space where you're not going to be interrupted. So letting your colleagues know that you need this uninterrupted time from 9 to 11,
Right. Or your significant other or your children.
or going off to your own quiet space, but giving yourself the opportunity to not have those distractions come at you, at least for part of your day.
Right. And even doing something as simple as putting a physical sign on a door, leave me alone.
Right.
As long
Exactly.
as you've communicated.
And communicating that to family, work colleagues, that sort of stuff
Mhm.
can be a great way. Even lots of times in a work situation, it's there's a group calendar where people are scheduling meetings and that sort of stuff.
Right.
Making sure that you're protecting your time, your personal time, around those other things that have to get done,
Right.
so
And
you don't give those up.
Absolutely. And you'll see actually your production go up as well. The reason being is your brain is mentally preparing itself for approaching that block of time.
Yeah, but it's like any other muscle. You're not going to go out the gates and be able to concentrate for 2 hours straight. I
Right.
guarantee if you go that way, say I'm going to concentrate for 2 hours, you're going to make it about 10 minutes and you'll be like, this is so hard, I can't do it.
That's why these videos are only 10 minutes long at most, because we just can't handle it.
Right. So recognize that you might be able to concentrate for 10 minutes now, but we want to build that muscle to 15 to 20 to an hour
Right.
to 2 hours, that sort of thing. So
Right.
it is something you can get better at, but we have that conditioning where we make it hard on ourselves, and we have to break that circuitry.
Okay. When you look at the types of time, if we were to chunk them up into bits and pieces, there are essentially three types of time.
Right. We identify focus time,
Mhm.
work time,
Yep.
and personal time.
Right. Personal time's easy. That's
That's the time to de-stress, debrief, have your personal space and do the things that you really are going to be good for you outside of a work setting.
Right.
Um,
Where we get tripped up is defining the difference between focus time and
And-
work time.
Now, I would define focus time as those critical things that you need to do that are most important for your most important objectives for work.
Mhm.
So if you're a salesperson,
Mhm.
it means your focus activities are those activities that directly impact your success as a salesperson,
Mhm.
which typically means that you're interacting with your customers or your prospects directly.
Mhm.
It's not all the working on proposals or planning or doing the research or all that piece. That's all work stuff. So anything that supports your focus activities is a work-related activity. Also, anything that's operational, administrative. What I like to do is look at all the things you do in a typical day or week
Right.
and put them down on a list.
Right.
Usually, about 90% of them are going to be work-related activities. So that's going to take up the bulk of your activities.
Right.
And then the focus activities are going to just be that handful of things which are really critical.
Right. And to dovetail everything we've talked about, the focus activities, that should be the stuff you're doing in that blocked and batched time where you're really saying yourself,
Yeah,
that's
and
the
you
most
can still-
important stuff to get
Yeah,
to.
and you can still do the work-related activities then too.
Right.
But yeah, definitely with your focus activities, building that quality time that you can focus on that and give it critical thought is going to be really important. We also want to put things into a calendar system to make sure that it all works together into your life. And we're going to talk more about that and share more about that with everybody in the program, so that there's more to come there. But the critical thing, I think, is that we're creating a new system, a new way of approaching time, dealing with time, and putting it all in a process and system that's going to work for you.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to speaking with you later on this week, and we hope this video has been helpful.
Great.
Bye.
What time is it, Chris?
It's time to turn off it.